Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Mary, and welcome back to another exciting, awesome video. So, just a few days ago, we got the finale to the case of Milgram's Keanu Mikoto, and that finale was Requiem. Now, a lot of people did not like Requiem, and for good reason. The writing was, well, even I gotta say the writing was not that good, and even showed like very just not good DID representation. Now, I personally liked Requiem, and Chimera, of course. Let's be real. That cover was heat, straight heat. Mikoto and John never failed to deliver on their covers. Yeah, and I did actually like Requiem. The MV, even though not a lot of people liked it, I thought it was pretty cool. It was cool to see the victim reports, even though the element, it was definitely like a strange addition. So, what are we talking about today? I actually decided that since the storyline that we are getting for Mikoto was pretty underwhelming, I decided to take it upon myself to try and rewrite a little bit, and try to keep it very truthful to what it originally, was, like what the actual story is. But I do want to at least try to make it so that we have better DID representation and a more compelling case, because if I'm going to be completely honest, what we did get was pretty underwhelming, at least compared to the fan theories. So let's first start with the order of the songs and what the songs actually are, because I do want to give you a bit of suspense as what I'm rewriting the story into. So basically, I do actually want to reorder the songs. I got I do get a lot of my stuff from Reddit, so on Reddit, there was this person who said that the songs should be reordered so that Requiem is actually the first song, but the trial one song, and then Mimi and Double are the trial 2 and 3 songs respectively. And I actually think that's a really good idea. And I'll explain with how I'm going to be reworking Requiem. So originally Requiem, the song is supposed to be in memory of John because he's not here anymore. In the music video, it's supposed to detail Mikoto's everyday life after he got his job. Before, and then ends with him ultimately going to prison, or well, in actuality Milgram, at the very end of the MV. So I personally thought this was a really good idea. I mean, with how the story is going, I'm gonna at least put a positive in there. I thought it was pretty cool, but that doesn't really work if it's going to be the trial 1 song. So I think we should first start by renaming it. So I personally don't really have any good ideas for what the song should be called, so I'm just going to say that this song is going to be incredibly straightforward. I'm going to keep it the MV mostly how it is, because this is, with what I'm going here, Mikoto is very adamant that he's innocent. He's not guilty. He doesn't even know that any murders took place. So this is just going to be him very straightforward, saying that he's innocent. That's what the lyrics are going to be. And since the MV is so straightforward, we also want a straightforward title. So to put it simply, the name of the song is going to be Innocent, because that's what Mikoto believes. And that's going to be reflected in the lyrics as well, rather than him saying that everything has changed because, and he feels like he should be saying bye, is instead going to be saying that it's instead going to be kind of a response to what he felt after he kind of fell asleep and was basically out for 48 hours. A detail which will be changed in in the actual story. So this does include Mikoto waking up, though. So after he wakes up, Mikoto is basically going to be thinking that nothing's really changed. Everything's basically stayed the same, but something feels different. And this is, of course, going to be a good difference because well, of course, we're going to keep a lot of the lines about, like, Mikoto, like, feeling stressed at his work and getting to, like, his breaking point. And so this change in the lyrics is basically, like, referencing a good change rather than the not so good change that has been shown in the original version of Requiem. And yeah, that's basically like we're basically going to be taking all like the lyrics out of like that references John stuff with him now that he realizes like the sin that took place. Instead, it's talking about him, his views on his job, and just all of that, in an effort to make us believe that he is innocent. And now, that's basically the lyrics. Now let's talk about the MV. So I want to keep everything practically the same as it is, but we're going to be changing some stuff. So the first thing I want to change is pretty obvious: the victim reports. So while I thought it was cool, while I thought it was a cool addition, like if we take out all, like at face value and take out all the context, and the story behind with Milgram and all of that, I thought it was a really cool addition. I thought they looked pretty cool, but if you think about it, it's a very weird addition because, of course, these are just random people that John killed. He didn't know any of them, so unless he was shown the actual victim reports, which I doubt he had time for, since when he opened the door, he was immediately taken to Milgram. So therefore, neither John nor Mikoto know any of the victims. So either this was something that was just added in by Milgram and Jackalope. It's a very weird addition, and if my theory is correct, and these were just shown by Jackalope and Milgram, then why didn't we see the victim reports in literally any other like trial-free music video? So let's just go back to Innocent, whatever we're calling it, Innocent. So going back to Innocent, so I'm going to be replacing these like victim reports with perhaps scenes from Mikoto's childhood, and then as the MV goes on, they become more blurrier, and you don't really know what's going on. And also, you can kind of like maybe perhaps make out like some violent imagery, like underneath all the blurriness. And this is something that I'll be getting to later. So we do have the scenes from Mikoto's childhood now. So another thing that I want to change is in the second chorus, when Mikoto's riding his bike and looking more tired, I want to instead change it to Mikoto being on a train in order to get to work. Perhaps he's maybe too busy to ride his bike, but we do know that Mikoto always like gets up like with an alarm. He always gets dressed, and then he goes out. And perhaps he rides his bike, maybe not to work, but to the train station. And so this is just showing another part of like Mikoto's day. He always rides his bike to the train station in this new storyline, and then he goes on the train. That's how he gets to work, because perhaps his office is maybe just too far away to like ride a bike on. That's not going to be the most efficient way of transportation if he wants to get to work on time. That's what I'm referring to. in this. And we also see on the train that Mikoto is sleeping. This is, of course, going to be a reference to Double, because in the first chorus in that song, we do see Mikoto sleeping. So this is kind of what we're referencing here. We kind of have like an almost one-to-one shot of Double in here. So in this storyline, rather than this being referenced to Double, this is going to be Double referencing this song. So yeah. And then, of course, in this scene, when we see Mikoto waking up, at the end of like almost around the end of the chorus, we or something, I don't know. We do see Mikoto waking up when this train gets to a stop, and we do see another scene from Double in this with Mikoto. We get a zoom in on his face to his eye with him waking up, and we see of course the light in his eye on like the top of his eye, signaling that is Mikoto that we're seeing. Of course, we do have one final change in around the end of Innocent. So rather than Mikoto waking up in his bed, he wakes up in his bathroom, in his bathtub, and then we see him in his bedroom with a towel around his waist, and he's looking at his phone. Then we get a zoom in on his phone, and we have of course Mikoto's like frantic expression on his face as he's scrolling through messages. Then that's basically everything that's changed. We do then see him again with more of a pleasant expression on his face, because he's thinking to himself that he might as well just resign. He's already been late for work and is most likely going to be fired. Or something like that. Then that's basically all that's changed. We then see him, of course, getting dressed. Although in the mirror, rather than just one of his earrings sparkling, we do see both of them sparkling. And that's basically all we change. Then on to Mimi. So really the only thing that I want to change is the scene of John's first murder in the train station. Rather than seeing like this blonde-haired person like crawling, we see what looks to be an older businessman with glasses, maybe looking even almost identical to Mikoto's boss that we see in Innocent. Just some food for thought. And so that's basically that's Mimi for you. And then Double. I might basically keep it the same. I think that there would be less bodies or any of that. I think we really only see John kill like one mannequin in this, in my opinion. I know that would probably be hard to make an MV look like that, but we are going to leave all the blood spatter and stuff, but we'll try to make it so that it looks like John only killed one person. There will still be all the scenes of John killing, but rather than trying to make it look like there are multiple people killed, it's just one mannequin. Yeah. I know that'll probably clash with the theme, most likely, of these simplified MVs that Trial Free has, where it's trying to be more literal. But I don't know, I just think it would work. And I think that like at the scene where like Mikoto's like calling his mother, and then we see like all the scenes of John killing, we actually see like him kill Mikoto's boss, like have it like literal and outright. Like in the first scene, we see John like attacking Mikoto's boss with like the bat. And then in the second scene, it's from the viewpoint of Mikoto's boss, as John like brings down like the bat and crushes him and crushes like his skull. And then that's basically it. I think that if there are any more scenes, then it could be like of like John maybe like burying the boss in like somewhere. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. And that's basically it, I think. That's probably all I'm going to like do for double. I think that already double like really works with like for this, but that could just be my opinion. So yeah, so then before I get to like the actual story, I do want to go over what I think the voice dramas could be. So I don't really know if I should change the first one because for John Doe, I think that John Doe not only like is the good like starting point for Mikoto and John and all of that, but also it also does show a bit of like Kotoko and like how she like has been spying on like all of the the voice dramas and like music videos and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just don't know if I should change this one. I'll leave it up to the viewers if I should. But yeah, I just want to like with the first trial, make it so that people feel like they already have Mikoto figured out and kind of have like a false sense of security, thinking that he's just a random person who is just like plain and there's nothing really going on with him, and they just feel like that he's probably kind of like just not a well-written character at first, and feel like that he's kind of just plain and something like that. And then trial 2, they immediately see him as like for like what's actually going on, and then that's when they vote him guilty. That's kind of what I'm going for at this. So for the first trial, voice drama John Doe, if I were to change it, it would be that John never fronts, and it's like a normal like conversation of them talking, and then the bell rings, and then they go to innocent. Then trial 2, they're back and Makoto's talking, and S genuinely still thinks that Mikoto did something if the police actually came to his house. So she's probably pressing him more, trying to figure out how he works. And that's when John fronts for the first time and attacks S. That's when that is going to be when Kotoko does step in, and that's when we get to reveal that she's been listening the whole time. And then it basically plays the same as the actual John Doe, the actual like John Doe voice drama. And then it cuts, of course, to Mimi. And then we have the final voice drama, the one, which I'm actually going to rename the trial 1 and not trial 1, but trial 2 and trial 3 voice dramas. I think that I think that that trial free, in my opinion, is going to be Neoplasm. That's going to give a Neoplasm name. And then I think we should actually give that one the name of the one. Now let me explain. I think it could symbolize that not that there is only like one other alter in Mikoto's body or something like that, but the one could be referring to the one who actually committed the murder, because this is going to be the one where John fronts for the first time. Yeah. So now allow me to explain the voice drama for Neoplasm, the third trial one. So I actually do want to keep it the same as the original, as the actual Neoplasm voice drama, because I just feel that it was a really good voice drama. But I do also want to add in like some elements from the actual third trauma voice drama, the one. Yeah, because I just feel like that the one kind of had like a good ending to it. I'm going to like take out all the stuff of like of like Mikoto's actual like realization stuff like that, but rather just Mikoto being on good terms with S, and S and Mikoto actually having a good conversation together. And then I'd also like to have John and S have a good conversation together. So that's what I'm going to do. Mikoto is going to be feeling strange because he was of course beaten up by Kotoko and like before the second trial. So I'm probably also going to add that in real quick, that that John did first front in Milgram during Kotoko's attack on the prisoners, because Mikoto was trying to intervene and stop Kotoko, see if he could do something. But then when Kotoko was friend Mikoto and was about to attack him because he was stopping her, that's when John first fronted, and John and Kotoko had an altercation, because John at that time thought that Kotoko was actually harming Mikoto. And so that's what happened. So Mikoto does have a tattered prisoner uniform and does feel a bit tired in the second trial, but it's still happy that he was voted innocent. Then in Neoplasm and Trial 3, S and Mikoto have a friendly conversation, and S does talk about what they saw in Mimi, all of the killing, all of that evil stuff. And John does feel really tired in Neoplasm, because I'm going to make it so that in Trial 1 he was voted innocent. Trial 2 he voted guilty because of Mimi. Yeah. And so he's finally coming to terms that maybe maybe he did do something. And then that's when S talks about when they were attacked in the Trial 2 the one voice drama. And I actually want to do something interesting with this one. John finally fronts Ven and Ver and starts talking with S, and then John and Mikoto, they start going back and forth with S helping to deliver messages for both of them. And it kind of seems like a pretty good conversation between the three of them. and then the bell rings, and then Mikoto says bye to S. But then something happens. For some reason, Mikoto's posture changes. He starts sitting a bit more upright, and there's a new expression on his face with what appears to be Mikoto saying thank you, but it doesn't seem to be Mikoto or John. Who is this? We don't know, but then Mikoto, of course, tells Mikoto to sing their sins. That's when we go to double. And then after this, whenever Mikoto is voted innocent or guilty, you can decide in the comments. So now I think it's time that I explain the story and what's going on here. So I first want to start long ago in Mikoto's childhood. He was a talented kid who did very well in school, and was well liked by teachers and students alike. And he had friends, and everything was normal there. He was just a talented kid who did very well. But at home, things weren't very good. Now, this is when I'm going to give a warning that we're going to be touching on topics of child abuse. So please be warned. So Mikoto's mother, she was a nice person. She was protective of her son, and things were going very well. But Mikoto's father was not a very nice man. He was your typical abusive father. He was a drunk. He wanted to get his way, and he was abusive towards both his wife and child. And this is when things started happening inside Mikoto. That was when he got his first alter, who we'll call Mikoto. So for all you Mikoto fans, yes, in this story we do get Mikoto. So for Mikoto, I want to give her and yes, Mikoto is female. I read that before that someone written Mikoto is female, and I kind of like that. So Mikoto is actually, she's very nice and sweet, and she takes a lot of traits from Mikoto's mother, but she also does have a bit of an apathetic side to her. More so just trying to stay behind and observe. So I guess I don't think apathetic's probably the best way to describe her, but more so someone who's distant. And she is what we're going to refer to as the gatekeeper of Mikoto's psyche. Because I think I've read somewhere that they're typically your free alters. You have your host, who is Mikoto, the gatekeeper, who for this story is Mikoto, and John, who is the protector. At least I think that's what those are called. Keep in mind, I'm not a system. I don't have the ID. I just tried to do my research online, as well as from the people on Reddit who do have systems and who have talked before about Mikoto and Requiem and all of that. So I'm trying to do my best to, of course, keep this super accurate to what systems are in real life. And if I do get anything wrong, then I do deeply apologize. Again, trying to keep it as accurate as possible, but I could still be a bit incorrect on things. So please let me know if I'm wrong and what I could have done differently in the story to make it more realistic. Thank you. So this was during the time when Mikoto got its alters. So of course we have Mikoto, and later down the line he later developed John. However, John was basically dormant for most of Mikoto's life. Yeah. And eventually, wanting to protect her child, as well as her daughter that she later had down the road. Mrs. Kayano decided to file for divorce. She knew that it was definitely a risky move because divorces are, of course, frowned upon in Japan, and this could definitely affect her later in life, but she wanted to prioritize the safety of her her children, and herself first. So that's when she filed for divorce, and basically Mikoto's father was now out of their lives. And this, however, affected Mikoto as he grew older. He tried not to think about his childhood as much, and that's when he kind of developed maybe more of a childlike personality. But he was also someone who wanted to be professional and fit in and do good for his family, wanting to make sure that his mother didn't worry, and wanting to make sure that he could be a good role model for his little sister. And that little sister, by the way, is who you hear during Mikoto's phone call in Double, because one memory that he never wanted to throw away was the memory of his little sister, her early years, but he unfortunately did kind of have to block it out of his memory in order to just get rid of all the bad stuff. Now, of course, I don't know if this is how trying to distance yourself from that works. So I do apologize if, of course, I'm getting any psychological stuff wrong. I'm just trying to do my best here. So then, as Mikoto grew older, he of course went to an arts college, graduated from an arts college, and that's when he started up his job as a designer. And he did his best to do well with work and to get along well with his employees. That's even when he started vaping and smoking, and in order to be to be social. But of course, work was not the same as back in school. He was basically competing with everyone, trying to do his best, and it didn't always work. He would end up having to do work really late shifts, do unpaid overtime, just to get by, and it was really taking a toll on him, as you see in Innocent. And and as he was getting to his breaking point, that's when John fronted for the first time. It was after Mikoto's first assignment got thrown out. As Mikoto was reaching his breaking point, that's when John fronted for the first time. And since of course John fronted for the first time and had really no idea of what DID was, he considered himself a newborn. Even though he was in actuality here for a really long time. And not really knowing what to do, and feeling all of Mikoto's repressed anger, he lashed out on a few trash cans and stuff, but never went on a murderous rage. He may have been secretly carrying all of Mikoto's anger for all this time, but at the end of the day, he was still just he was still someone who had no recollection of what to do, since this was his first time fronting. And so he stayed conscious for a while before going back to Mikoto, who didn't know what was going on. And then John, Mikoto just continued his walk home. And then up until the first murder, Mikoto, John would ever so often front to see what was going on. Then he would collect information, and he thought that that was Mikoto's boss who was giving him so much stress due to all of his work. And so then the night of the murder happened. John first fronted in a train station. One night Mikoto was walking home when John fronted, and because Mikoto was in so much stress, he had to take John knew that he had to take it out on something, and that person and it was going to be the person who was the cause of all that stress, the boss, due to all his abuse. So, as John was waiting in line from the train to where the boss was, since he had memorized the where the boss's usual schedule, he got a phone call from the boss. It was as he was leaving from work. The boss called in talking about some stuff, but John never got back to him. Then John took the train and went over to where the boss was, and stayed in the shadows as the boss was about to order the board the train. That's when John took his baseball bat, and that's when he attacked and killed the boss, and then went back. And then he of course buried the body and went back home. That's where he threw away all of the bloody clothes and took a bath. And that's where Mikoto woke up from. And that day, Mikoto, of course, quickly got out of the tub, put a towel on, and went over to his phone to check it, and read all of the missed messages. And the rest you probably already know. So, do you think that that's a better storyline for Mikoto, John, and Mikoto? Let me know down below. But I personally think that it is, but I don't know. Is this an accurate representation of the idea? Do you think that this makes John a better person? Because I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I think it could be something, and I think that the outcome from Mikoto will kind of stay the same. I do think that this storyline, after Mikoto learned about the murders, he will try to collaborate more with his alters, and will of course try to serve time behind bars, because he still views that himself as the person at fault, and still wants to redeem himself and do better. What do you guys think? Because I do really love Milgram, even if it has its faults, even if it's not the most perfect story or his most well-written story out of here. I just really love the characters, the music, all of it. And if I can do my best to fix a character like Mikoto, who in the original story really didn't have any nuance or any of that stuff that Milgram had, then I'll do it, because I love the character. And yeah, that's it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then please do make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know down below if I did a good job with portraying DID or any of that stuff, because I have no intentions of writing a poorly written DID character. That's not at all what I want to do here. I just want to see if I can make a better story, and if I hit the mark or not, just please let me know. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all the next time. Peace out, y'all.